why aren't corporations hiring? I mean, especially given that profits are record levels, and I mean we've had our every 3 months lowering of expectations for earnings season starting, but corporate profits and margins are at record high. So
yeah, I think
where's
that's
the disconnect?
another reason why I kind of feel like I'm focused on like the first chart that shows how levered we are, and then corporate profits are a record, and the market's hitting new highs, and I feel like no one's really focused on that. But in profits as well, you can see the impact of the Fed's extraordinary stimulus. Profits owe a huge debt to the Fed. Most immediately, it reduced interest expense. Just the reduction in interest expense alone to corporations has accounted for 60% of the growth in operating earnings since 2009. So reduced interest expenses like $320 billion. Operating earnings are up $530 billion. So it's been a huge contributor. And then obviously...
And this is for financial or non-financial?
For total.
Okay.
For total. But then you also had access to cheap capital to fund strategic acquisitions, which I have to assume, helped improve productivity and cut costs. And then also...
And not exactly hiring.
Right, exactly. This is, it's kind of interesting. If profits are really so phenomenal fundamentally and they're sustainably strong, then why aren't companies out there hiring and increasing CapEx? And I think it feeds back to this idea that they are kind of one-time exceptional things that companies are enjoying, from reduced interest expense to strategic acquisitions. For financials, they've been able to release reserves against potential losses hugely, in part because delinquencies have been stemmed by all the government handouts to low-income consumers. So I have to believe that if you back into what share of, increased food stamps and extended unemployment benefits has actually resulted in boosting financial sector earnings by allowing them to release those reserves, you'd find it's a pretty good...
So it certainly isn't the top line.
No, and actually, thank you. That gets to if you could flip to the next chart. This is a picture of nominal consumer spending, and I'm going to try not to get too deep into economic nerddom over here, but this is, if 75% of the U.S. economy is consumer spending, this should be a window into top-line revenues for corporate America. And when you look at this chart, you certainly wouldn't assume that profits would have hit all-time records in the last few years. So to me, nothing illustrates the degree to which the boom in profits have had nothing to do with the economic recovery better than this chart. Clearly there's something else going on that's explaining the growth in profits, and I just enumerated. I think those things are all exceptionally short term.
Yeah, I would. I look at this and I see definitely the containment of labor costs, which is a nice euphemism. That